When we spoke earlier, you said that you had a conflict with your friend, a friend from high school. Can you tell me briefly what caused the conflict?
Yes, so her name was CL, and she was on the dance team with me in high school. And it was actually over a guy. She used to date this guy for like a week, and then he ended up trying to like text me and whatever, and she found out and took it the complete wrong way. They had broken up months before. Anyway, so through Twitter, I remember going on and I see this tweet, and it just sounded, the way she worded it made it seem like it was about me, and it was not good at all. Like, they weren't nice words whatsoever. And so I tweeted. She didn't tag me in it or anything like that, but then I tweeted more generally, and I didn't tag her in it either, but I just subtweeted, which means, like, you're talking about someone without tagging them in it. So I subtweeted back, and then just to see if it was about me, and then she did it again. And so we ended up getting in this subtweet fight. This is when I actually cared about drama, and I actually kept up with it in high school anyway. Yeah, and so we ended up having this subtweet fight, and I think Twitter just gives us this false sense of confidence, because the next day I saw her in person, and we never talked about it in person or anything like that, and I can't think of the word, but we never talked about it. We never made it right. Like, I don't know. And then, anyway, she just came up to me and made it seem just like normal, and she was like, "Oh, hey, Kaylee, how are you?" And I was just like, okay, you weren't just talking about me on Twitter. Anyway, it just gives you this false sense of confidence.
All right. Well, why do you think she did it in the first place?
She was probably just mad and jealous at a point, and it was just easier instead of confronting me. It was easier than texting me or just having an actual conversation with me, and so instead she took it out through social media. Like I said, just like, it's really lack of confidence in the end.
So you think like social media allows people to be more aggressive because it makes them feel less accountable for their actions?
Yeah, I believe so. I guess when you're looking at a screen, whether it's your laptop or your phone screen, you're not looking at that person, or you're not specifically talking to that person. So it's just easier to say whatever you want, because when you're talking to them in person or even texting them, you're going to get a response. And it's probably not going to be good, especially if you're coming at them in that way. So it's just easier.
So do you think there's any like bad communication, such as things being taken out of context?
Absolutely. That actually brings up another story through Twitter. I remember I tweeted something just generally. I can't remember exactly what it was about. But this girl, she ended up tweeting about it, and then was like, "I can't believe you would talk bad about me," and all this stuff. And it was not about her. She took it way out of context, absolutely. And it was, like I said, it was just a general statement. It wasn't about her. But I think people can definitely take it out of context if it's not a conversation in person.
So how long did this conflict take place?
Well, with the girl that took my tweet out of context, the one that was not about her, I ended up messaging her, and I was like, "Hey, like, it wasn't about you." So we diffused the situation right away. But the other girl, we actually never really talked about it. I probably should have been more upfront with her, but yeah, to this day we still haven't talked about it in person, which is crazy.
So was it just the one time, or did it happen was it
She
recurring?
actually did it again like a few months later, and at that point I was just over it. I was like, I'm not gonna even pay attention to it. But it was just, I don't really care for drama, so I didn't want to make the situation worse than it was.
So how do you feel that the conflict ended? Were you happy, angry?
I think I have like these unresolved feelings towards it, just because, like I said, I never confronted her. We never talked about it. I probably should have, but so it's definitely not like a good ending. I mean, if I see her in person, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be angry, but it's just, we're always gonna have that unresolved conflict.
Well, from your friend's perspective, do you think she or he was happy or angry about the resolution as well, or?
She never talked about it either, so I'm pretty sure she's over it now. It was, like I said, it was a guy she dated for a week in high school. It was nothing serious. It was just petty drama that girls do. But I'm sure if I'm still having unresolved feelings, she is as well. We'll always just kind of have that like off-putting feeling whenever we see each other, just because we know we'll never forget that fight through Twitter.
So do you think social media is the main cause, and do you think you would have had the same conflict if there was no social media?
I do believe social media was the cause, because if we talked about it in person, we would have resolved it right away. It wouldn't have been a problem, and she would have realized that there was actually nothing going on between me and that guy. It was just lack of communication.
So did she ever get mad if you ever brought up the post in person? Like you said, you never did though.
Yeah, she's very passive aggressive, and I can be as well, admittingly. But so I think she would have been like, oh, it's okay, if we had talked about it in person. I don't know if she would have actually like been truthful with her words. I don't know if she would have. I don't know. I don't know if it would have been actually resolved. But that's just the kind of person she is.
Mm. So, all this social media and stuff has made it to where communication is supposed to be easier for us, but do you think it's actually make it more complicated?
It does make it more complicated. It is easier in a sense. Like I said, we're looking at a phone screen, not at a person, so it's easier to say things that we wouldn't normally say.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to start fights, easier to have conflicts with people, difference of opinions, instead of in person, because we're not getting a reaction out of a physical person. We're not getting a reaction of a physical being. It's just words on a screen.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, is there anything else you would like to add that I didn't ask, or maybe that you didn't say?
I can't think of anything.
All right. Well, thank you, Kaylee, for helping me out with my interview.
Of course.